Don't be boring.
So this came in from a guy named Kent Anderson, and he's got a band called Petty Larceny, which is a great name,
Yeah.
and you'll understand why in
Yeah.
just a second.
Yeah.
I played with an award-winning and popular Tom Petty tribute in central Massachusetts. We play throughout New England, anywhere from performance venues to bars to outdoor venues and town shows. One of the things we struggle with is stage banter, things to say to start a show, between songs, and so forth. Part of the issue is that our excellent lead singer, their Tom Petty, I suppose, really sings his brains out, so he's often thinking about the next song and not necessarily in the headspace to communicate with people in between songs. We've tried scripting things a little more, but that just puts more of a memory burden on him, and he doesn't use an iPad. What is your advice? Is it okay for someone else to be the banter person? What are things that work with banter and things to stay away from? Thanks for any and all insights. So big thanks to Kent for reaching out. And this is something I feel like we've talked about before, but bears repeating.
Yeah,
There's so much that we can get into.
their case is a little special. Did you check out their website?
I did not. Tell me about it.
It's good. So first of all, a couple things that I loved about it. At the bottom of the front page, there's a video that on its title, and the name of it coming in from YouTube is "Show in 30 Seconds."
Love it.
Love that so much. Like tells
exactly
you how
what
much.
we're looking for.
Actually, I think it's 60 seconds. Correction, but still, it tells you how long it is. I'm like, yeah, I'm in for 60 seconds. It's not a problem, right? I do think that they are not a strict tribute in as much as they have male and female lead singers.
Okay.
So there's not like a people playing particular characters in the original show. I don't think there is a Tom Petty in their show.
Got it.
So it's not as strict as some covers I've seen, but I'll tell you the videos I saw and the audios I saw, really clean, really nice. I think they're a really good act and lots of great video evidence of draw and crowds having a good time. And yeah, I was super pleased with the website I saw. So that changes the question, right? Is there something, if there's not a Tom,
Yep.
if there's more than one person being the lead vocalist for different songs, does that take some of that front person pressure off of our excellent lead singer? And he is, by the way, he's really, really good. I think the answer is yes, some. I have seen bands where the singer sings and then like the bassist talks to the crowd. And it's not that I had to get over something as an audience member that the singer isn't the one talking to me, which is just my expectation. But I do think that's the crowd's expectation. I don't know how hard it is to overcome that expectation, but I did have a moment of like, isn't it funny the singer sings but then kind of goes away between songs?
Yeah.
It felt weird. It did feel weird.
Yeah. When you were saying like the bass player talks, the first example that jumped out at me is Fall Out Boy, because Patrick, who is their lead vocalist, is not the mouthpiece of the band. Their bass player, Pete Wentz, is the guy who does all the talking in between songs. And if anything, like their singer is kind of like the foil to him. But it is a thing, like if you look at their specific dynamic, the bass player is the one who's the main lyricist. The singer is he's a singer and he's a good singer. And so that's what he does. And there are other examples of that kind of thing. And, in my band, my wife is in the group.
Yep.
And she is the only person on stage that doesn't have any other focus in between songs.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've got to tune my guitar. And so she's really good at filling that space. And also she's just a more personable, like outgoing person. And so in our world, she is the front person who is engaging with the audience, who is very locked in and is doing a lot of the talking. And then I play the part of maybe like the foil of that. And that's just like a personality thing. She's definitely the more gregarious, outgoing, and I can kind of be the sarcastic, throw a quip out here and there. Every once in a while I have like a moment of genius, but she's the one who's putting the work in, and that is one of her very unique skill sets that I 100% appreciate, because it totally adds a level to our live show that wouldn't be there if she wasn't there. So totally throw that her way. She gets all the flowers.
Yeah, I think with fronting teams, right? Co-front people, I think it's a really powerful dynamic to engage with, because I'm still working with Taylor to be comfortable with banter and ready to just be on mic. You know, I did lots and lots of theater improv
Sure.
as a kid and a college kid, so something can come out of me, and I trust that, and it's part of what makes me be able to be on a podcast too. Like I don't have
Sure.
to pre-think a lot of stuff because I gotta have some confidence that something okay will come out of my mouth. Not everyone has that. That's a developed skill, and I'm working on developing that with my current co-front person. In my last project, I co-fronted with a guy who was like distilled charisma.
Yeah.
Like everybody wanted to be his buddy. Everybody wanted to be his, and like everything he said was perfect.
Yeah.
Always. That was not something he developed. He was just kind of born with it.
Yeah.
And so in a lot of cases, he was the voice and I was the foil in the same kind of way that you and Amber are. Which
Sure.
is it's a fun dynamic. You can play with
Yeah.
that, and you can subvert it sometimes, and you can argue sometimes on stage in a way that makes the show interesting. Like there's a lot you can do with that. So that's fun. I think also we set the bar higher for ourselves than it really needs to be. A lot of times, if you
Mhm.
just if you shout out like everybody having fun tonight,
Yeah.
like that's all it takes to have the crowd be connected with you and engaged, and they get to roar back, and that's all it is. It's not,
Mhm.
you don't have to come up with something clever. It's just a moment of sort of, I'm not playing music now, so I'm going to say something to you and you're going to say something to me, and that's all it is.
Well, yeah, and I think the thing that people just need to understand is that the intent of the between song banter is to maintain the energy level
Right.
or
Right.
keep that engagement happening.
Yep.
So it doesn't, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. It is like, are you having a good time?
I
Are
mean,
you still with us?
for our purposes, we're not doing like singer-songwriter storytelling. Let me take 20 minutes between songs to set up this next thing, tell you
Yeah.
where it came from and who I was with when I wrote it. And
Yeah.
this isn't that, right? In fact, I set my show up so there's very little need for banter because we're bang right into the next song. There's
Right.
really no space for it.
Well, and that's a good point because you were talking about the intro with like the different sound clips and stuff. You can engineer your show where like there is no in between banter. You can just program that stuff in.
Yeah.
So you could just put sound clips or movie whatevers and literally say nothing
Listen,
in between
my
songs.
plan is when we set up the break, the last song before break, the track will end with "After these messages, we'll be right."
right back.
Exactly. We all know it. Yeah.
So here's my confession. The way that I keep thinking about this 90s gig is like the band was frozen in ice during MTV Spring Break
Yeah.
1998.
Perfect.
And I just want to keep saying like Spring Breakers, make some noise.
Yeah.
And I know that like it would get so annoying so fast, but that is
No,
exactly what I want to do.
that's the vibe. That's the vibe. I love it.
We got Carmen Electra coming up right after this.
That's right.
Stay tuned for the grind.
Yeah, stick around for Tia Carrere.
Oh God, that would be like, but that's the other thing you got to be careful about. Is like the thing that's funny to us may not necessarily be, what would actually work for everybody else.
Or at best, it's a one-time joke. Like you're
Yeah,
not going to get away with that all night.
yeah. Adam, who's on the live stream, said what Dan's saying about the ex theater kid improvisational whatever is very true, and I think that that's actually a really good suggestion for a person who's like, I don't really know how to do this.
Go take an improv class.
Take an improv class
For sure.
Every single town has one.
Yeah.
And you just have to kind of learn the general like rules of that world where you basically just don't shut things down. Find a way to add to whatever it is that's being said.
Yeah.
Or create a thing out of thin air and just think of things that make sense in that world.
Yeah, but it's all about keeping the vibe open and keeping the energy going. My child has been, who is now a theater kid, has been in an improv class for 6 months. And it was parents visit week last week, so we went to a few of the classes she's taking there, and we did go to the improv one. And I'm not gonna say my kid was the best improviser there, but she totally was. She completely was. And part of it was like it was the way she adapted immediately to whatever the scene was that she was stepping into, and then pushed it in ways that were unexpected. And that's it's similar. It's similar. You know, you here you are on stage. If you're going to do something, have it be interesting, right? I can't remember who it was, but like somebody famous talked about their acting coach giving this one piece of advice, which was, "Don't be boring." So
That's it.
don't be boring for sure in your banter. Don't be boring. Scripted, by the way, is boring. Don't do scripted.
Sure.
Terrible.
Like I do remember, like when I was playing original music, there was a group that we played with that had a script, and as long as it was the first time seeing them do it, it was probably great. But as the band that played with them over and over again, like, all right, here they
Here
go,
it is.
and
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
And because listen, it is show business, and the reality is that you are going to get yourself into a routine that you're going to do over and over and over again, and once you kind of get some sort of established reputation, your job is to find ways to engage your existing audience while still being appealing to new audiences,
Right.
and kind of finding the balance between those things. But when you're just getting started, coming up with a couple of bits is totally fine. The ones that I always did was like we would introduce ourselves as members only, and then like halfway through the set we'd be like, we're still members only.
Right.
Like just stupid stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a way to show, one, that you're having fun and that you don't take this too seriously. But it could literally be name a venue, make some noise.
Oh, for sure.
Every 4 songs.
Absolutely. Again, everybody having fun tonight.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's stupid, but it works. I'm working on a some kind of gag. It's not fully formed in my head yet, but my new band's called Big in the 80s, and my chick singer was born in 2000. So like something about like we were big in the 80s, except for her. I don't know. That's not it, but
yeah, you got
something in that ballpark. But that's not it. No, for sure, that's not it. Yeah, but something. I'll work with her on that. We'll have it be something fun. But that might be kind of a scripted moment. And in the places where I've had this sort of banter stuff really evolve over time, it always started with some gag that happened on stage that was hilarious and it killed us.
Yeah, just something organic, 100%.
Yeah. Like your kick move in the Duran Duran song, right? Yeah. Like it's somebody did that once and like it kind of stuck. And so it didn't get scripted exactly, but it's kind of what we do now. That's totally valid. And as long as you can own it every time like it's the first time, like you just came up with it, which is what acting is, by the way, saying words like you just thought of them.
Yeah.
That's all good.
Well, and there's so many ways to go about this, because the initial pain point is the person that is supposed to be in charge of this just doesn't do this naturally.
Right.
And so there's 2 approaches here. You can either go, this is a skill that this person wants to develop and they want to work on it.
Right.
Or it's like, this is not something that they really are interested in, and we have to kind of work around it.
Yeah. My casual recommendation, and it's okay if it gets ignored, would be the former. My recommendation would be to have the singer be the spokesperson, because that's just, it's what the audience expects. You don't have to get over anything. That would be my suggestion.
And the thing that we always talk about is that your job as a band, and if you're the person holding the microphone, is that you need to be the thermostat for the room, not the thermometer.
Right.
So you need to be the person who sets the energy level. And if you're not sure what that means, do some research. Go watch some other bands that that are really good at that and kind of take notes at what they're doing. Watch live videos of your favorite groups where, their lead singer is really adept at that.
Well, and in this case, we got Tom Petty to look at, and he's a master of this. He can hold a stadium in the palm of his hand. So go watch that.
Also, from just a person who's like seen him before, that wasn't really his deal.
Yeah.
The closest artist that I can kind of like equate him with is kind of Joe Satriani, where he's just kind of like, hey, it's really cool that you're here, and we're gonna play some music, and we hope that you enjoy it. Like, it is very like, there's this humility to it that is like really, first off, it's unwarranted, because like you're watching a absolute master at their craft do what they do, but it is very much kind of like this isn't a big deal. You can kind of whatever.
All right. So as a tribute act, you can cultivate that vibe too.
Sure, if it is something where you are like doing a straight impersonation, yeah, go watch archive footage of the way their live show goes.
Yeah.
Because listen, everybody's got a bit, and whether you like it or not, there's a thing that they say at every single show, and it is just it works, and
Yeah.
so it sticks.
Yeah. On Roger Waters' last tour, toward the end of the night, and it happened at the show that I went to here in Greensboro, but then I saw a video of it a lot of other places. I've done the whole show, and then like we got a close up of him on all of the monitors that are all around the stadium, and he says, "Is it all love in this room tonight?" And there was when I was there. Yeah, they're completely. It touched me deeply. And then I saw a video of it from like 20 other venues, and I was like, "You're cheating on me, Roger."
Yeah, and and that is something that you will notice is like if you're a fan of a particular artist and they go on tour, you start watching all the social posts. It is the same thing over and over
Totally
again.
identical.
And so, kind of let that go.
Yeah.
Because that is just kind of the reality
Yeah.
of this work.
Yes.
You know, this is the best town we've played in, or you know, you can say this is the best venue we've played in, or whatever.
Yeah.
The other thing that popped into my head is like, you know, a funny person. You might know a person who's like professionally funny, like they do stand up or whatever. Reach out to them and be like, hey, is there anything that you can punch up? Is there anything that like we could be saying in between songs that you think would be entertaining? Or like, here's the thing that I was thinking of, and maybe they could just go through it and again punch it up, just kind of like find
or even like
beats to hit.
I'll throw you a few dollars to come to my show and just take some notes. What could I be throwing out?
I think a lot of people aren't willing to reach out from like a non-traditional set of resources. So find choreographers, find funny people, find theater folks that are in your circle that could just, you don't necessarily have to take what they say as gospel, but maybe they've got some insight that you just don't have, and take the bits and pieces that make sense for your project or your show, incorporate those, and just the way that we get good is by taking little bits of information over time and iterating and iterating and iterating and iterating and iterating until you've got this thing that just can't be denied. But like thinking about other groups, like successful groups that aren't necessarily have really vocal lead singers, I don't know if Mason from the Pork Tornadoes talks a whole lot between songs. From a personality standpoint, it doesn't seem like that's the kind of thing that he does.
I think from the live streams I've seen of them, they kind of talk amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes between songs.
It's more of like an ensemble.
Yeah, but mostly it's like just bang, bang, bang between songs. There's not room for talking.
And there is no right answer.
No.
You know, if there's a tuning break, the way that we've always done it is like if you're looking at like a set list and you're doing like let's say a 2-hour set, you're going to take these breaks regardless. They're tuning breaks, they're guitar. I got to take this guitar off.
Water breaks, whatever. Yeah.
And find the things that you want to talk about during that time. So it could be information about the band, social media stuff. Put your camera up against the QR code to find out more about us. Thanks to the venue. Tip your bartenders. Give it up for this staff. We've got X more songs. There are particular subjects that you can talk through that don't necessarily require you to be clever or whatever. You're just filling dead air, basically.
Yeah.
And that dead air can be filled with you talking or the band talking, or you can find some other creative way of filling that space. It could be instrumental interludes or sound clips if you're doing like era stuff like we are. There's so many options for you that don't involve your singer unenthusiastically going, "Are you guys ready to rock and roll?" You know?
Yeah. I don't know why that's lame, but everybody having fun tonight. That works. But are you ready to rock and roll? Doesn't that lands bad.
Rock is no longer a verb that is acceptable in modern society.
Wow.
I don't think.
That's harsh but accurate.
But if you're asking like, are you ready to rock? Like, I don't know. Am I?
Let me check in.
I mean, it's like it's 8:45. Like, I feel like maybe that.
Just got my kid to bed. Am I ready to rock? Let me. What are the alternatives?
Yeah.
To rocking.
If I want to rock and roll all night, do I have to party every day?
These are
the questions.
My wife is a
My
a
wife.
font of misheard lyrics. And what she thought that song was I want to rock and roll all night and part of every day.
Part of every day. Yeah.
Not the
Find the
whole, not
time
the
that you
whole,
want to
that
party.
the whole rest of the day was just too much. It's a part. That's the right amount.
Yeah.
She also thought
I
the
mean,
Beatles had a chicken to ride. She's got
but she don't care.
she's got a chicken to ride. She's got a chicken to ride. My baby donkey.
My baby.
Yeah.
Just, it's all about chickens and donkeys, man.
Yeah. She also thought she was wasting away again in my gorilla suit, looking for that lost zipper I caught. Yeah. Good times.
Lots to work with there.
It's been my life. Anyway, the point is, Banter. It's both more complicated and less than you think, and it doesn't take a lot to produce a lot of result, but you got to be strategic and targeted and ready to have something come out of your mouth that's great without having pre-gamed it.
Yeah. Also, be sure to not get locked in on something.
Yeah.
Because the same joke, there is a threshold, and if you say the joke too many times, it stops being funny. A good one that I really enjoy doing is, here's another song we wrote in the cover band world.
Listen, we in my last project we had a whole shtick we did as we were setting up I Will Survive, where my co-frontman claimed to have written it, and I argued with him. You did not. No, and it changed it got it escalated every time. So we often had the same people coming to our stuff. We had fans that were coming to all our things, and so we couldn't deploy the same joke exactly the same way. But here's a song that I wrote after I was broken up with back in the 80s. He didn't. Don't believe him. That's not. Yeah, I did. I wrote it. I don't know. It wasn't a smart joke, but it worked. And then we kind of changed the way we deployed it, but we never talked about it. We always kind of surprised ourselves with how it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I sometimes preempted him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are about to hear a lie. This man's about to tell you he wrote this song. It's not true. I did. I wrote this song. You didn't.
You have to be careful about that, because the things that are funny to you on stage may not carry over.
For sure. Always a risk.
Yeah, I was in a group where when we were doing the classic country thing, and we were doing "You Never Even Call Me by My Name." Yeah. There's that whole break where it's like, my good friend Steve Goodwin wrote this song, and we would hand that up so hard, because our singer would be, and me and the other guitar were like, "Is that what he said? Are you sure that happened?" And it got. I mean, some nights it went fully off the rails, and that interlude was 10 minutes long, and we were just absolutely out in space.
At some point, you're just entertaining yourself, but
exactly.
Yeah.
So you can get away with the, hey, here's another song we wrote, and when we did Africa, we'd be like, here's a song by a little band called Weezer. Just throwaway stuff.
Yeah.
But again, you get a couple of those, and then you have to figure out a way to get you got to find something else.
Yeah.
So, take opportunities. Think about the stuff that cracks you up at rehearsal, but look at it from an outside perspective and make sure that it's not something that's so insular that it's lost on people who are just casually observing. But there's no right answer. It's trial and error. It's all of the different things that you can try out. And listen, I mean, this is just what stand-ups do. You try something until you get a response, and if you don't get a response, guess what? You don't do that one anymore.
Try something else.
You use the Wang Chung rule. Give it a couple of tries, and if it doesn't land after a couple, then throw it out.
For sure. Here's the other thing. I think that my advice to somebody who's doing improv, if you were in an improv show and never went to an improv class, if you suddenly somehow found yourself on stage about to do improv, never having studied it, my piece of advice would be chill out. The audience already trusts you. You already have everything you need to know, and believe that when you open your mouth, something's going to come out that'll be working. I think a lot of this banter stuff is about the distance between me and the audience. It's about the distrust of the audience, that I have for how the audience is going to respond to me. There's a lot of fear in it, I think, for a lot of people. And I don't know, you and I may have done enough shows that I don't get stage fright anymore. I have a sense of setup anxiety that's about the work of setup. But for me, I'm the minute I get to downbeat, I am 100% home. There's no disconnect between me and the audience. I have no fear of what they're thinking of me. That used to happen to me, but it's totally burned out by now. Just the number of sheer stage hours I've spent.
Yeah.
But I think this question kind of speaks to somebody who hasn't maybe been through that process yet and is still kind of on stage like, oh my God, they're looking at me.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing that just kind of occurred to me is that what people are looking for is authenticity.
True.
And so even if the only thing that you say is tied to just gratitude,
Yeah.
like thank you for being here,
Yeah.
like that is mileage enough.
For sure.
So
no, listen, it's amazing to be here. Thanks so much for coming.
Don't overthink it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Say that. That's great.
If nothing else really feels like you,
Yeah.
just be grateful.
Yeah, we're so proud to be here. Thanks so much for coming.
It's so cool that you guys hung out with us all night.
Yes. That's a great direction to lean. Yeah.
You did
everything it
did
took.
all the things.
Everything it took for you to be here. You're so great. Thank you so much. You've been so awesome tonight.
Totally. So
we've loved playing for you. That's the thing. When I take a break in my acoustic show, I often go up to a couple of tables that have been engaging with me and tell them like, man, you guys are so great to play for. Oh my God. I'm getting so much back from you guys. I love it. That table's going to stay till close. That table's not leaving anywhere. Cause I've just said to them like, I need you. You're awesome. Thank you. Thank you for what you're giving me. Yeah. If you can put some of that out in the crowd, that's powerful.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing I really enjoy. Like in between sets, if somebody's really like being engaging and stuff, I'm like, you get the MVP for tonight. You get game ball because you're really making this fun for me or for us.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it so much.
Yes.
And you don't have to wait to do that in between songs. You can do that on stage.
Sure.
Another thing that we do as far as like keeping engagement up, again, this is an eras thing. This is a thing that works for us, may not work for everybody. We do giveaways. So 80s band, it's really easy. I go to Target, I go to Walmart. The $5 DVD bin is full of Breakfast Club, E.T., Beetlejuice, like all of the classics.
Yeah.
You get a handful of those, and then you get like an 80s trivia set, and you start asking questions, and then like, oh, you get that. So that's a way of filling that time that doesn't necessarily involve you being creative or kind of like trying to think of something on the spot. It's just a way of filling that time.
Yeah. There is some MC skill involved in that, but it's not like you don't have to come up with something clever.
Right. It's like, who wants a free pair of sunglasses? Who wants a DVD? Who wants free stuff? Just period.
Yeah.
You know,
everybody wants free stuff.
It's easy. So kind of look through everything in a kind of holistic way, because it doesn't necessarily have to be, I've got to be the most charismatic, sexy front person, people like eating out of the palm of my hand. Just be engaging, be genuine,
don't be boring.
Authentic. Like, just make sure people are having fun.
Yeah.
Like your show is like people coming over to your house for a party. Make sure that they've all got their drinks topped off, that they know where the hors d'oeuvres are, and you know they can pick up their. I'm running out of
all those things. Just all the things.
Yeah. Be a good host.
Be a good host, because that's what you are. You're throwing a party, and you're the host, and you are welcoming and inviting and bringing them in. All of that.
Put a bow on that. We're done.